made it to Virginia Department of Corrections, Red Onion State Prison. To accept this call, press 0.
This is Red Onion Randy, and this is part 2 on my thoughts and opinions on racism, continued from last week. I hope you enjoy listening to it, and let's get at it. Let's take George Floyd, for example. There's no matter how you cut it, that was murder. Period. That was murder. I do not agree with defunding the police. And at the same extent, I don't believe that a damn police force should have a freaking tank. What does an American police force need a military battle tank in their arsenal? Instead of, if the police would just simply stop buying stuff that they don't need. You are not a military force. You are not a Navy SEAL. You are not a Green Beret. You're not Spetsnaz. You're not British Commandos. You're not a Special Boat Service. You're none of these things. Your job is to uphold the law, period. You cannot uphold the law with a tank. You cannot uphold the law with a grenade launcher. You cannot uphold the law with a 50 caliber Gatling machine gun. How in the hell is that upholding the law, keeping the peace? A police officer's job, at the end of the day, their job description is this. 1, uphold the law. 2, make citizens feel safe. And they're not doing that. Now, I'm going to say this. Sometimes some of these killings are racially motivated because some of them, they have an opportunity to take someone's life and get away with it scot-free. And I think a lot of the reasons why cops kill, one, because for the most part, they know they can get away with it. But secondly, it has to do with cop shows on television. I have never once seen a cop show that has not involved a shooting. Every single time, every single episode is always a shootout. And you have cops who watch these cop shows. You take Chicago PD. I was actually a big fan of Chicago PD while Sophia Bush was there. But when she left the program to pursue other projects, I kind of fell away from it, and I haven't really watched it since. But you got a character on there named Hank Voight. This dude, his character, I don't know the name of the actor, but he plays a hell of a character. Dude is a phenomenal actor. I give him credit, man, because when you watch him, you believe that that's him. And I guess that's the best compliment that I can give an actor, is you made me believe in your character. His character is so corrupted. He is so corrupt. He is above the law in his mind. Whatever it takes to get a confession, whatever it takes to get a perp, whatever it takes to cover up one of his crimes, it doesn't matter. This dude would do it. This character would do that. And this is pretty much every single cop show on television. And you have these cops, they watch these shows. And because they're cops, because they are living this day in and day out, they idolize certain characters, especially like Hank Voight, because Hank Voight does what it takes to get the job done no matter what. He doesn't care about politics. He doesn't care about laws. He's a vigilante. So you'll have these cops, they're riding around on patrol, and, hey, did you watch that episode last night? And they're talking about it. And I'm like, damn, man, I wish I could do that. Man, I really wish I could just go hardcore like him. But, I can't do that. But this is the thing. Once you start thinking about something, once you start daydreaming about something, you're on a slippery path right then and there. Once you go beyond thinking about it, daydreaming about it, and you actually start talking about it, because this is the thing. When these cops are bringing it up to their partner, there's more to the question than just, hey, did you watch the episode? No, it's the feeling out process. They're trying to feel out their partner to see, well, hey, maybe I can do this. If he's okay with it, he's going to have my back, and he wishes he could do the same thing too, then I can go on ahead and pull the trigger the next time I have to pull my gun. I can go on ahead and drop one of these sorry-ass scumbags. And if the partner says anything that he takes as a scent, that's what's going to happen. That, in my opinion, is why a lot of the cops are out there killing. They're killing suspects. I mean, that's just my opinion. Now, I could be totally wrong about that. So you have all of these different elements. You have black people don't feel safe in this country. And I understand why. Because I see it day in and day out. I've seen how black people have been treated since I started coming to prison, since I started getting locked up. I've faced racism from black people. I've actually been discriminated and racist from white people in prison because I talk to black people, because I've helped black people. There's been a couple of guys that I've taught how to read and write, that I've helped write up, informal complaints and stuff on people for doing them wrong and trying to help them out. I've been moved from pods because I've helped people like that. And because I know how to write stuff up, I've taken the time to educate myself to the best of my ability. So I understand where black people come from in this country. Because in the eyes of the law, I might as well be black my damn self. Because I'm poor, I was uneducated, and I was white trash. The law is only effective for rich people. If you are not rich in the United States of America, you might as well be a slave. You might as well be black. Because that's how the law, that's how the courts are going to treat you. I'm locked up for capital murder. And I am the only person in the United States of America that was locked up for capital murder who has never received an appeal. I didn't get to appeal my case because my lawyer at the time never filed it. He never filed it, so I was denied it. And this is happening to a white person in America, in prison, in the court system. Let me tell you something. It's 1 billion times more worse for black people. Because in the eyes of the law in America, a black person is not human. All right? I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if you're a constitutionalist. I don't care if you're a communist or a socialist. I don't give a what your ideology is. I'm speaking from personal experience. I have done 30 years in prison, juvenile and adult. I know what I've seen with my own eyes. I know what I've heard with my own ears. It's undeniable. And is anything going to change? No. All of you out there protesting and marching and rioting, burning cities, looting businesses, you ain't helping. Because all that's going to do is the people that are against you, all you're doing is entrenching them even further into their beliefs. If you want to change the law, let me tell you right now, you have to respect the law. Obey the law. You have to follow it. That's the only way to bring about legitimate, lasting change. is to respect the law. And this is coming from someone who's done his entire life in prison except for 11 years. Maybe 12 years, actually. There was a couple months in juvenile where I got now. It takes more than talk. When I look in the mirror that's hanging on my wall, I don't see a white man. I just see a man. Nothing more, nothing less. That's all I see. If we start teaching our children, and that's where it's going to have to start. If you teach their children to ignore race, that's why I don't like, if you go to get a driver's license in the United States, there should be no race, what race you are. Why should I have to qualify myself as white? Why should a black person have to quantify themselves as black? Why can't he just be a male? Why can't he just be a female? Why do you have to label us? That's where everything in this country is going wrong. It's because of labels. From the time you are a child, you are bombarded with labels. Everything you watch on television that involves the cops are always shooting somebody. If Hollywood would change, if Hollywood would start writing scripts, and it's not that complicated. Hell, I'm writing a movie script myself, and if I can do it, I know they damn well can. Why can't they write a cop movie that's based on what cops actually do? Serve and protect. Why do they have to kill? Why do they have to wound? Because all you're doing, Hollywood, is feeding these cops fantasies about killing someone. Y'all were crying and whining about Donald Trump being racist, Donald Trump being misogynist, Donald Trump being a dick. Well, y'all were actually the ones that are the freaking problem. Because y'all want to keep pushing this crap into our eyes, into our minds. You are what you eat. Well, guess what? You are what you watch. You are what you listen to. You are what you read. Whatever you put into you is going to come out. That's why I quit watching that stuff. I no longer watch cop shows, period. I won't watch them. They disgust me now. If you will just change the way you make movies, you can make a great movie, a great talk show that's based on investigative techniques, that's based on community, that's based on helping people. Why can't you chase a perp down on foot and tackle him? Why do you got to shoot him in the back of the head 34 times? I mean, there was nothing left after 8 bullets. Trust me, I know from personal experience. If you want things in this country to change, you have to change the way you think. If you want things to change in the way you think, you have to watch what you put in. So change is indicative upon you, nobody else. You take the Washington football team. They were known as the Washington Redskins for a very long time. And they happen to be my favorite team. That's the NFL team that I pull for. My entire family did, except for my 2 brothers. They happen to be San Francisco 49ers fans. Weirdos. But everybody else in my family were Washington Redskins fans. I grew up loving that team. And while personally I would have liked to have seen the name stay the same simply because of the history with the team that I had, but I understand why it has to change. It has to change. And finally, they started to do that. That's why they're no longer known as the Washington Redskins. They're known as the Washington football team until they can choose a new name. Well, I actually have a new name because they are my team. I love that team. I love rooting for them. I changed their name to the Washington Arrows. That pays homage to the Native Americans of this country, to the warriors of this country. And dude, they were stone cold warriors. If you actually read history, let me tell you something. If Native Americans would have actually had access to guns, this would not be America today because they would have won. We would not have been able to defeat them. But you changed the name to the Washington Arrows, and you changed the colors to like a charcoal gray and black. Now picture this. You got black pants. You got a charcoal gray jersey. Then you have a flat black helmet, and then you've got an arrow. But don't go with wood and stone arrow. Go with a modern graphite composite arrow. And man, you got a great team name. You can still pay homage to the Native Americans. You just modernized it. And you've given yourself a new look that's got swagger. It's got a cool factor to it. It's got an intimidation factor to it. And that's your home uniform. But your away uniform, you just go black and gray camouflage all over. Now, I don't know if anything they will actually do that or not, or I doubt that they will ever hear this, but that's just my opinion. But this is the thing. I recognized the name needed to change. But then I started to think, okay, well, what would I change it to if I was the owner of the team, if I was Dan Snyder? And so I came up with my idea. And the reason why I tell you this is because of this. When you see something like this, when you come across...
You have 1 minute remaining.
It is indicative upon you to come up with solutions to fix the problem. If you want things to change, it is indicative upon you to change the way you think, the way you view this world. This is the Red Onion Randy. I hope you enjoyed listening to me. I hope it was insightful, and hopefully I gave you something to think about. And hopefully I didn't offend you too much. If I did, I do apologize. I'm simply speaking from the heart, talking to you from my own personal experience. And I hope it makes you think. I genuinely hope it makes you think. Thank you for listening to me. Take care. Stay safe.
Thank you for using GTL.